Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Awesome. Today we're tackling leadership, but we're going beyond, those typical top 10 traits of successful leaders lists.
Right.
We're looking at it through a more spiritual lens, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
We're using this text called Talking About Jesus as our guide today. And it uses this really interesting comparison between Moses and Aaron to get at what it really means to be a great leader in God's eyes.
Exactly.
So I guess the big question we're wrestling with here is, does God expect leaders to always put, their people and their organizations above everything else? What do you think?
Well, the text actually starts by talking about the worldly view of leadership,
Oh,
and
right.
says that the world often admires leaders who keep their promises and really prioritize their organizations.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, reliability and commitment, those are good qualities, right?
Oh, absolutely. Those are crucial for any leader. You have to be able to follow through on your commitments and act responsibly.
Right.
But then, talking about Jesus kind of throws a curve.
That's interesting. I'm not sure I follow, though. How does putting God first help the people a leader is supposed to be serving?
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But the text uses the story of Moses to illustrate this point. Moses, chosen by God to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt.
Right.
He consistently followed God's commands, even when it meant going against what the people wanted. Can you imagine that pressure?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Leading all those people who are desperate for freedom.
Yeah.
And having to say, no, we have to follow God's guidance, even if it's a longer, tougher path.
Yeah, and it wasn't just tough choices, was it? I mean, the text talks about that time Moses, totally rebuked the Israelites for worshiping a golden calf.
Oh.
I mean, he actually smashed those tablets with the 10 Commandments on them. He was furious.
Right.
Not exactly a popularity contest move.
No, not at all. It's a powerful example of putting principle over personal gain.
Yeah.
Moses understood that true leadership meant upholding God's law no matter what. And the text really contrasts this with the way his brother Aaron handled things.
Oh, right. Aaron was the one who gave in and actually built the golden calf for them, right?
Exactly. At that moment, it might have seemed like the kind thing to do, the leaderly thing to do,
right.
to give the people what they were demanding. But ultimately, it led them astray from God.
So talking about Jesus is basically saying that true leadership, in a spiritual sense, isn't about making everyone happy.
Right.
Or putting your organization first no matter what.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with God's will, even if it's hard.
Wow.
That's where righteous leadership comes in, Leading with integrity, guided by divine principles, always trying to do what's morally right, even when it's unpopular.
And the text suggests that this actually makes for a stronger foundation.
Yeah. It builds trust and integrity, because people can see that you're not just acting out of self-interest.
It really gets you thinking about the leaders we admire, whether it's in history, in business, or even just in our own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Do they embody this idea of putting a higher purpose above all else?
That's a great question. It makes you think, and it makes you wonder if putting God first is the key to righteous leadership in a faith-based context.
Yeah.
What does that mean for leaders in secular settings?
Yeah.
In businesses, politics, even in our personal lives?
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like to lead with that same sense of higher purpose, even outside a religious framework?
Wow, that's some serious food for thought.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping us unpack this. This has been a fascinating deep dive.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.